This episode has been rated Bangkok Dangerous. There is no safe space when you're trying to prevent a golf monopoly. Viewer discretion is advised.
So one of our unbending life rules is don't get involved in things you don't understand.
You've seen the collection of videos that Big Boy Pants Golf has put out over the past 4 to 5 weeks. At this point, is there anyone who has a better understanding of the issues at play than this guy right here?
But one of the biggest controversies in sports in many years is taking place between the PGA Tour.
Tucker, the fact that you said PGA Tour like you had no clue what the PGA was for, maybe I should step in, but please proceed.
And an upstart tour called Live. Now, we watched this happen. We didn't know exactly what to make of it, but it seemed interesting.
More than just interesting. If you see the other videos that Big Boy Pants Golf has put out, you'll see that all of the geopolitical issues of our time right now merge between this whole issue of Live Golf versus the PGA Tour.
Lots of drama in one of America's top sports, a sport with a storied history. So we decided to go to Trump Bedminster, the golf club yesterday in New Jersey.
Tucker removed the tie for the golf course, but still kept on the blazer. Interesting fashion choice. I wouldn't say it's business casual, just more of like business minus a tie.
And find out what was happening. While there, we talked to one of the best golfers in the history of sport, who's now the commissioner of Live International, and asked him, why are you doing this exactly? That would be Greg Norman. Here's part of our conversation with him.
Greg Norman is currently 67 years old, and he looks like he's 13% body fat. It's one of the few times I've said, hey, I wish I could be in shape like that 67-year-old guy.
What is the business model? I mean, you're not signing your players to an exclusivity contract at all. They can play wherever else they want.
Again, the PGA Tour keeps pushing the narrative that the Live Golf Tour is trying to compete with them for the players and for spots on the calendar. They can totally coexist. Greg Norman clearly here stated that his players can play wherever they want. They're not held to just playing on the Live Golf Tour. Don't forget that the DP World Tour dropped Henrik Stenson as the captain of the European Ryder Cup team because they said it was something that was with his scheduling conflict. But as Henrik himself said, and what seems to be apparent from what Greg just said, they've made it so that players can fulfill their obligations, whether it be Ryder Cup captain or to play in events on the PGA Tour. This is a forced conflict that's coming from one side.
There are no TV rights at this point. You're streaming it for free. Yeah.
Since when has free been a bad thing?
They're putting a huge amount of money into it. That's obvious just from sitting here. So how does the revenue arrive?
Tucker is raising up the issue that PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan brought up when he referred to the Live Golf Tour as an irrational threat. Let's be real. It seems that most of the irrational threatening has come from the PGA Tour Commissioner and the DP World Tour Commissioner. Maybe the guy who had the most irrational threat was Davis Love III, saying that the U.S. PGA Tour players should boycott the U.S. Open.
Well, the revenue will come in once we launch the league, right? This year is a startup.
Greg Norman calls it what it is. It's a startup. When you start a business, you're not going to make a profit necessarily day one. Even if you make losses, you carry them forward and you offset them against future profits. Fun fact, in the early years, the Ryder Cup always made a loss, no profit, kind of like a startup. Now, the Ryder Cup makes tons of money, and as noted in a previous episode, none of that money goes to the players. So where does it go? These are more questions that need to be asked. Why aren't we grilling Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour?
Yes.
Right? Because, quite honestly, back in February when we were ready to start up, there was a few obstacles thrown in our way from the PGA Tour.
The PGA Tour threw more than just a few obstacles at Greg Norman and the Live Golf Tour. You had that smearing by Alan Shipnuck, Phil's biographer, all these press conferences where Jay Monahan is ranting and raving, and yet here we are. The best quote about this was Greg Norman saying something along the lines of, you don't run through a brick wall without expecting to get a few bruises and cuts. Don't quote me on it, it isn't exactly like that, but you get the point.
And so we had to pull our reins back a little bit.
For our viewers who aren't following it, can you give us a sense of those obstacles?
Well, that's when the book came out about Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson made some not so complimentary remarks about the Saudi, where the money came from, and Saudi Arabia.
Do you see how relaxed Greg Norman is here during this interview? The guy's a straight up Zen master. It really makes you wonder who the vindictive, vengeful one is, Greg Norman or Jay Monahan. Jay Monahan never comes off well in any interview.
And then it snowballed and it created a bit of a dominoes or a scary effect, and the PGA Tour came in, and they obviously did the right thing in trying to protect their monopoly.
Another bad M word, just like nowadays how the word man is a bad word.
Came in and the players backed off a little bit, so we had to regroup. We're ready to sign the next week. We're ready to sign multiple players and launch the league. So we decided to take a step back, analyze the situation. We knew our model was the way it was. We knew our investor was still there. He wasn't going anywhere. The money was in the bank, right? So we just made an adjustment.
Every business school should throw out all its case studies right now and just start watching this as it's the definitive case study on how to destroy a monopoly and make something beautiful rise up from the ashes.
And we worked around every obstacle that's been thrown in our path.
It's literally Jay Monahan with DP World Tour CEO Keith Pelly riding shotgun, and they're both throwing nails and other sharp objects onto the road as Greg Norman tries to drive some type of SUV filled with gifts and toys related to golf to bring to children in a village somewhere so that he can grow the game. I don't care what the obstacles are. Greg Norman will drive through them.
So we came up with the Invitational Series to beta test.
By using the words beta test, Greg Norman has brought over every software engineer nerd who's working in San Fran right now and made them a fan of the Live Golf Tour. They're all about beta testing.
Yes. Right? Now with the fans, Tucker, we did a survey for nearly 12 months around the world, asking fans from different tours, what do they like and what are they missing? And they came up, it was overwhelmingly more fan engagement, right? More fan experiences, and team sport.
Team sport is probably the winning formula, especially in Asia, where people do everything together and have much more of a group mindset rather than an individual mindset.
Give us more teams, and we built the model around that. And our model, Tucker, is 100% built around the golf ecosystem from the ground up. So we're not trying to destroy the PGA Tour.
I'm still waiting for Jay Monahan to show up again and refute these claims. These claims, some of these issues have been brought up a month ago or 2 months ago, and there's just no debate going on. We need Greg Norman and Jay Monahan on the same stage together.
Or the European Tour, we're there to work within the ecosystem to show that it's big enough space. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? Billions and billions of dollars in the game of golf.
Why would sponsors drop golfers for participating in Live?
One of the oddest cases was Cozen O'Connor dropping Jason Kokrak after he officially signed with the Live Golf Tour, even though for the prior year he was already a Saudi golf ambassador.
Tucker, that blows my mind. And sponsors, by the way, who spend billions of dollars in Saudi Arabia.
Greg Norman brings up the point that 27 PGA Tour sponsors do $40 billion worth of business in Saudi Arabia each year. He's already brought this point up before, months ago, and no one's addressed why it's okay for the PGA Tour sponsor companies to make profits in Saudi Arabia, but it's not okay for the PGA Tour golfers who go to play Live Golf Tour to make money on the Live Golf Tour.
Now, why doesn't the PGA Tour call the CEOs of each one of those organizations, oh, sorry, we can't do business with you?
Make that call, Jay Monahan, and I'll be back on Team PGA Tour.
Because you're doing business with Saudi Arabia? Why are they picking on the professional golfers? Why? The male professional golfers. Females, the LPGA Tour is sponsored by Aramco, right?
Literally?
Literally. The largest sponsor of women's golf in the world is Aramco.
Why haven't any of the women on the Aramco Golf Series, which has been going on for years, ever had to field any of the questions that Phil Mickelson, Lee Westwood, or Ian Poulter had to field.
That not one word has been said about them, right? But why is it on the guys? Why are we the ogres? What have we done wrong? We're independent contractors.
I'm betting right now Jay Monahan has asked the PGA Tour lobbyists to push to have the phrase independent contractors removed as a trigger phrase or a trigger word.
We have a right to go play wherever we want in the world for whatever we want.
So what do you think that's about? It's clearly not about principle, obviously. So what is it about?
It's a monopoly. They just want to shut us down whatever way they can.
I would love to see the pro PGA Tour side put together an analysis of how this isn't a monopoly and how Jay Monahan's actions aren't anti-competitive in nature. Make it happen.
Right? So they'll use whatever leverage point they can to shut us down. And they're not. They're not going to shut us down because the product's speaking for itself. We have my phone almost on a daily basis gets calls every day from players. One end, I want in. How can I join Live? I tell them I'm sorry, the shop is closed.
You know, there are tons of PGA Tour golfers out there right now who are kicking themselves for not reaching out and grabbing that sweet, sweet cash.
So the list gets longer and longer and longer for the players who want to come in.
Greg Norman using the same strategy as the nightclubs who let the patrons line up outside, even though you know once you get inside, there's barely anyone in there. Maybe just 48 people.
Which again is a testament to the right white noise.
Why is it so offensive to some American golf fans that you're doing this? What are they mad about, do you think?
I don't know. I really don't care, quite honestly. I just love the game of golf so much, and I just want to grow the game of golf.
While the Live Golf Tour is growing the game of golf, how about growing my subscriber membership level by hitting the button subscribe? Also share and like.
And we at Live see that opportunity. We at Live see it not just for the men, but for the women.
The head of the LPGA is very pro-Live and is waiting for a call from Greg Norman. And she was thrilled to hear that little statement.
We at Live see it for NCAA and younger generations. We at Live see it as a pathway to opportunities for these kids.
This sounds fantastic to me. I know that when I was younger, my pathways were limited by David Ledbetter's instructions or Jim McLean's The X Factor, which the golf instructors nowadays specifically don't teach.
To experience a new world out there. Live is the future of golf.
Say it again, Greg Norman, but this time with feeling.
And that's a very simple phrase and comment, but Live is the future of golf.
Live is the future of golf.
Because you don't see what we see in the future. You don't see what we want to invest in the future. CSR programs, education programs, all this stuff that's out there that we want to get involved with for golf and growing the game of golf.
I can't wait for Live Golf to solve world hunger. And then all the initial haters are going to have to eat humble pie that is provided probably by Live Golf in a more nutrient-dense, eco-friendly version.
So you keep reading that you offered Tiger Woods $700, $800, $1 billion, some unknown number to join Live. Is that true?
Greg Norman does in fact confirm that prior to him becoming the CEO of Live Golf, that an offer of $700 to $800 million was in fact offered to Tiger Woods. But this interview, as you can see, was so much more than that, where we see a true visionary show what's already occurring and with the promise that more will happen in the future. I don't know about you, but I'm all on Live Team Golf. Because at the end of the day, aren't we all on one big team? Humans?